viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel Cloud Climber. In this session we will see Advanced Spring Boot Annotation. In our daily projects we will use so many annotation, but we will be not knowing why we will use this annotation and what is the purpose of using it in our application. So we will see all the annotation which are most commonly used in our project. We will see all about it one by one detailedly. Okay, let's get into it. There are so many types of annotation. First one is Spring Boot application, stereotype, Spring Core annotation, REST API related annotations like get mapping, post mapping, like basically CRUD operation. And next is Spring Data JPA related, like add element, add data. So we will see all this annotation one by one detailedly. The first one is add Spring Boot application. So this I will demonstrate with an example, then you will understand how it will usually work. First I will say what is the function of this. When we get enter into our IntelliJ ID, if you create one class, so here you can able to see at Spring Boot application. What does this means? We will be usually having a separate Java class application. So how we will differentiate whether this is a Java class or a Spring Boot annotation, Spring related application. So in that way we will use a Spring Boot application annotations. When we use this, that we are saying this Java class is related to a Spring Boot application. So when I click over it, this is an inbuilt class. It is already present. We won't write this code actually. So here if you get down, you can see that enable at configuration, component scan and configuration. This all the three annotation, they are included in the Spring Boot application itself. Spring Boot application itself as an annotation, even though it's combined with other three annotations. What all the task is? First one is a configuration. You are able to see it as configuration.class. Basically what it will do is it will indicate the class to declare one or more @bean methods and maybe proceed by a Spring container. Here Spring, what is a Spring container means? Usually in Java what we have to do is we have to create an object. So suppose I have an object of human, I will create one more object name as human1 is equals to new human. In no sense that we are creating an object in the Java class, but here we don't want to create an object. Spring container itself will create an object for us and will make use of it. We won't manually create the object. That is the advantages over here. So that is the thing. The main purpose of this configuration is to create a bean method. Bean in a sense a object itself is called as a bean. The next is component scan. What it will do means, so in your Java applications you will be having one main classes, like this is your main folder. Inside that you will be having many other folders also, subfolders will also be there present. So in that case, wherever you have created a bean, it will load all the things, it will register all the beans which you have created in your application. That is the main task the component scan will do. Component scans in a sense, it will scan everything at bean, wherever you have given at bean annotation, it will scan all the packages, all the classes. For that purpose we will use a component scan. And there is a one more annotation, that is enable at configuration. Why it is used means, enable Spring Boot auto configuration mechanism. This annotation tells Spring Boot to attempt automatically configure your Spring application based on the dependencies. Where we will basically give our dependency is in our form.xml. Here we will give our dependency. when you give the dependency here, it will automatically load in your project. You don't want to load every time when you are using this particular thing, so it will manually do all those things. That's about the Spring Boot application. Basically what I'm saying here is, you can see in this picture, at Spring Boot application combines at configuration, at enable auto configuration, and at component scan. This is what I have explained now. I hope it is understandable. So I will go to the next concept, that is stereotype. What is stereotype? Before I was saying a Spring container will create a bean for us. We don't want to create a bean, right? So when it was creating a bean in a Spring container, it will look for some annotation. What all those annotation are? The stereotype annotation. If that class present the stereotype annotation, it will consider that as we have that it will, what it will do means, whenever this stereotype annotation is present in your class, it will, IOC container will automatically create a bean. When you annotate this bean, it will automatically scan that particular class, and it will also manages the cycle from the beginning of the object creation till the object destroy. We don't want to take care of it manually. What all this annotation will do basically is, why we will use at component. At component is like we are saying that this is our component. In at service, what we will do is, we will write our business logic. Business logic is what the performance that should perform. We will be having some logic, right? Addition, subtraction, whatever it is, big or small, we are writing it in the service layer, where we will annotate by at service. In at REST controller or controller, we are exposing our API. We are exposing our API innocence in the Postman. When you enter the Postman, here you have to give the URLs, right? /API or /something. So those things here, we are basically, what we are doing, we are exposing our URL. That we will do in at REST controller or controller. Okay, next annotation is at repository. In at repository, why we will use this is, basically we will perform an CRUD operation with a database. What all the CRUD operation means? We will create a data, or we will retrieve a data, or we are updating the data. If I want to update something in my database level, so I can update, or if I don't want that object to be present in my data, I can delete it. This is the CRUD operation basically, right? That we will perform in the at repository. This is about stereotypes.